everybody. Hey, this is Heidi St. John, and I'm coming to you live from the great state of Washington in my favorite little town in the whole wide world, Battleground. And I wanted to give you guys a campaign update. So tons of you asking, what is it like for just a regular citizen, just your average, Joe, if you will, but not Joe Biden, to run for office? What does that look like? Hey, you guys are getting on here. I'm going to get into the meat of what I'm going to say because I got a list of things I want to talk to you guys about today. But as you get on here, let me know, like you always do, where you're coming from. Is the Delta variant, the Rona got you yet? For goodness sake. Now they're going to try to scare the whole cotton picking country again. Never let them do this to you guys again, right? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Right? We're not going to let them do that again. So I want to talk to you guys for just a few minutes about what it's like to run for office. Hi, Gretchen. Hey, Western New York is in the house. Good to see you guys. Kennewick, Washington. So I announced a run for Congress back in February, I think it was, because I'm just absolutely sick of the people that are in Washington, D.C. who say that they represent me, not representing me. I'm sick of it. And I've been raising 7 children for the last 30 years and minding my own business and raising patriots and teaching my kids to be good citizens. And all the time that we're sending people to Washington, D.C. and even to the state houses, and we're electing our city council members and our mayors, they're not actually helping us. They're hurting us. They're undermining us. Yeah, craziness in Virginia. You're absolutely right, Amber. And so I decided that I would just do the thing I'm always telling audiences on my podcast to do, and that is get off the bench and onto the battlefield. You guys, there are municipal races. Every single one of you listening to this right now. Do you know who is on your city council? I mean, do you actually know? Have you talked to them? Do you know what they stand for? Do you know what's important to them? Do you know the decisions that they would make? Do they really speak for you? Have you talked to them? I think the answer is, for most of us, is no. We look at the voter pamphlet because we don't have time, right? We got jobs and things that we're doing. But the fact of the matter is, hi, Adam in Vancouver. Nice to see you. The fact of the matter is, we got to start getting involved. If we don't, we're going to lose our country, and we're going to lose it in really short order. The republic is in danger. Our constitutional walls have been breached. And so back in February, after Jamie Herrera Butler, who I've supported for years, put her bumper sticker on my car, the whole thing, when she voted to impeach the president of the United States, no due process, none of that stuff. No, we're just going to make this emotional decision and impeach the guy. And then she doubled down. Now we're talking about the January 6th commission. You guys, if there was a real insurrection, I have to laugh. The people that do the narrative in the news right now, like, you have to laugh. They're going to tell you things are on fire that aren't on fire, and things that actually are on fire, like our borders and our voter integrity. No, those aren't actually on fire. So up is down and down is up. This is the nature of the world that we live in. So I announce a run for Congress after, praying about it for several weeks and talking to my family and listening to people, speak into my life and give counsel. None of you asking me what it's been like. And part of what I really want to do in this run is to encourage you guys to run. Run for school board, run for library board, get on your Parks and Rec board, for goodness sake, get on city council, run for Congress. Yes, you're right. So Dee's saying she's discouraged. You guys, tell me how you feel about your representation. Do you feel like you're being represented? And the question is probably not. So I wanted to tell you guys how much fun I'm having. First of all, I'm loving the campaign aspect of it and meeting people. I love it. So, hey, Ann, let me know where you guys are coming from. So January 6th that's a great question. January 6th was certainly, I would not call it an insurrection, right? January 6th, we don't know yet, right? Because we're not getting the truth from anybody. And what we know for sure is we got a bunch of people. We know for sure it wasn't President Trump. We got that part down. Right? And it looks to me like Antifa. I mean, we got these people in our backyard. So this whole idea, it's the political landscape is disgusting. So I got a list. First of all, I'm going to talk to you guys about fake news. So I get it now. Fake news, right? It's everywhere. President Trump, Russia, right? Fake news. From the moment that guy came down the escalator, they attacked him. It was false narrative, one false narrative after another. Same thing's happening to me. And I'm actually going to start making a game out of it because it's starting to make me laugh. So apparently I've been divorced. And I told my husband that this morning. I was like, dude, we got divorced. And he was like, what? When did that happen? I'm like, I know, it's right here. I read it. It's in the news. So it must be true, right? It's on the internet. So it absolutely has to be true. And so apparently we got divorced, and then our kids, we had to go to counseling because, you know, he got some of the kids and I got other kids. And anyway, that was news to me. So I appreciate so much the stellar reporting that is happening about my campaign. I just so appreciate it. And I was like, well, that's amazing. Let's see, what else did I read? Oh, I read that I filed bankruptcy. I told my husband, I was like, Jay, oh my gosh, do you remember that? We filed bankruptcy. And he was like, when did that happen? I said, I think it might have happened around the time we got divorced. I'm not entirely sure. I could be wrong, but I had to laugh. I'm like, this is amazing. It's amazing what is happening in the news. They can say whatever they want to say for however long they want to say it. And they just get away with it because you can say anything you want on the internet, right? On the interwebs. And so funny thing, what else did they say? They said I don't pay my federal taxes. Fake news. They said I filed bankruptcy. Fake news. They said I was involved in hiding a child abuse scandal. Fake news. Fake news. Fake news. It's all just fake news. Listen, I've been a leader for a long time. And when you don't have anything, when you have no compelling argument to make, you know, when opposition research is all you've got, you don't have much. And especially when it's a lie, right? And so fascinating. It's just fascinating to me. And you guys are going to read about it. So when you read things on the internet, you know, just assume that it's not true. Let's just start there. Let's just assume the baseline now that we hear, like CNN. Thank God that President Trump said fake news, right? Because now we all know, yeah, slander and libel. That's what we got going on right here. So the last abuse scandal that supposedly I was involved in is a tale of two sisters, right? That's what it is when it boils down to it, of which I am neither. I'm neither one of them. And one of them wanted me to be involved in the scandal of which I knew nothing about, don't live in the state or anything. And when I refused to slander one sister, the other sister started slandering me. Okie dokie. That's the news. Okay. So there you go. So when you see people talking about why they don't run for office, this is exactly why. People said, "Oh, they're gonna eat you for dinner. You guys, guess what? I'm starting to laugh at this stuff because what we do is we don't read below the fold. And the last article came out in a blog that could only be, you know, we can only say is like the National Enquirer of political blogs. The guy has a history of writing fake news. So they write fake news. And if people were to go past the slanderous, accusatory, inflammatory, horrible headline that insinuates that somehow I would cover up the sexual abuse of a child, you guys, that is a terrible thing to say. And at first I was like, gosh, you know, this came up in 2014 because I wouldn't participate in the spat at it going again. You guys, do your homework. Do your homework. We got to stop believing everything we read on the internet. And so I'm going to encourage you, because I know a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to run because they're going to lie about me. Yes, they are. They're going to slander me. Yes, they are. They're going to try to ruin my business. Yes, they are. They're going to try to ruin your reputation. Yes, they are. Why would they do that? Why would they do that? Because they don't have anything else. Because they don't have anything else. We can't run on ideas anymore, right? We got to run on slandering other people and trying to ruin good people. And I'm actually keeping track now of the fake news, and I'm sure that there will be more of it. I'm going to stand for truth. I am a freedom fighter, and you guys know me. All right. You guys know me. I started talking about the Rona. I started telling you guys they were lying to you about the Rona before we all realized they're lying to us about the Rona. You guys, we have people in leadership right now, and frankly, people who are running for office right now, who are full of lies. Is this really what we want? This is what we want? We want our government to be full of more swamp creatures? No, we got to upend the whole thing. Yeah, look what they're doing to Dr. Scott Jensen. You're absolutely right. And you know what? We got to do better than this. So when you guys see lies out there on the internet, or you see something that's like, you know what? I just don't know. I don't know if that's right. You should reach out. It's funny, at the bottom of this slanderous article full of all kinds of lies and garbage. The bottom line, this is so fun. This is my favorite part of it. The bottom line said, we have reached out to Heidi St. John for comment, but she has yet to get back to us. Fake news, fake news. Nobody reached out to me. Why? Because they knew it was a lie. Because they knew it was a lie. So if you can lie enough, if you can put fake news out there enough, then eventually they're hoping that people will believe it. Except for I'm gonna fight back, and I'm gonna say, listen, we got to stop believing the news, and we got to get back to what the Bible says. You got a grievance against somebody, you got to Matthew 18 it, right? What does God's word teach us about how we handle disagreement or how we handle what we think might be a lie? Well, we go to the person and we say, hey, I heard this. Is it true? Such an easy thing to do. But we don't like to do it because it's much easier for us to listen to fake news. It's much easier for us to just listen to CNN tell us how the Delta variant is going to kill you. You know, I read a very, very inflammatory headline from Oregon Live this morning. You know, this doctor is just telling this poor unvaccinated person, I'm sorry, it's just too late as they die from COVID-19 because they're unvaccinated. We got to do better than this. We've been drug around by our nose, and we're learning something, you guys. Fear is a good way to control people. Don't be controlled by fear. Don't be controlled by your emotions. Don't be controlled by the lies that people tell about you and the garbage that you read on the internet about other people. You got to be discerning, all right? When you run for office, and I hope a whole lot of you will, okay, I don't want you to be discouraged by what they're trying to do to me, because part of the reason I'm doing this is so you guys can see what it's actually like. We got swamp creatures everywhere, and they're in the Republican Party. Hate to break it to you. They're in the Republican Party, and I'm sick and tired of electing liars and cheaters and people who would lie to get a position. Why would you? I don't want you in office then. If the only way that you can get into office is to lie about other people and try to ruin them, you are not fit for office. And that is the truth. So there you go. What else is on my list? Oh yeah, I wrote down, this is kind of how it goes when you're running. They're going to try anything that happens bad around you, they'll try to link to you. So keep that in mind when you read things about candidates. And I'm not even just talking about me. I'm just talking about, you know, anybody who's out there who's decided to throw their hat in the ring. All right. And also something I learned as a child in Sunday school, out of an abundance of the heart, out of an overflow of the heart, the mouth speaks. And so when you see people and all they can do is spread gossip and innuendo, all of those things, out of an overflow of an abundance of the heart, whatever's in the heart, the mouth speaks. And we need to start being discerning. And you guys, we can turn the tide on this thing, but we got to stop saying, oh, well, that's just politics. This is what people do. And we go, wow, look at you. You're running for office, but all you can do is slander and lie about your opponent. So therefore, you're not a good candidate. Character should matter in these things. And until it matters, until it starts to matter, we're going to keep electing the same people over and over and over again, and we're never going to see change. When you want that accountability, hold them accountable in the election. Hold them accountable in the way that they campaign. Hold them accountable in the way that we interact with each other. If you're willing to lie about someone to gain a position, then you will lie in the position. I'm going to say it again for the people in the back. If you're willing to lie about someone to gain a position, then it stands to reason that you would lie in that position. We got to stop. We've got to stop allowing this to happen. So I'm a leader. I'm not going to lead with knee-jerk reactions. All right. I'm not going to be leading with knee-jerk reactions to emotional stories that come out about me that are almost always 100% false. And we're going to start responding to them. But you guys know what? To me now, I'm just like, I'm going to start keeping a bingo board up on my wall and go, wow, there's another one. Whoa, look at that. It's another slanderous lie. The whole idea is to intimidate people out of a campaign and to get them to drop out. And I'm not going to do it because I'm not a politician. I'm a mother and I'm a grandmother. And I have been a citizen of the district that I am running to represent for a very long time. And I have loved this district for a very long time. I love the people here. I love the environment here. Well, I don't love the politics, let's just be honest. But I love it here. And I'm going to fight to represent it because I know my bones I'm the best person for the job. And so that's what I'm going to do. And I think there's joy in it. Let's have some joy, right? So where does that joy come from? It comes from knowing that I'm the right person for the job. It comes from knowing I got the support of my family around me. It comes from the Lord. The joy of the Lord is my strength, and that is what I got going on. And that's hard to beat. Even a lie. So what else is on my list? Let me see. No, bankruptcy, I talked about that. Didn't pay my taxes, talked about that. I got divorced. You guys heard me say that actually didn't happen. Jay and I are getting ready to celebrate our 32nd wedding anniversary coming up in September. Also, this is interesting. Another Heidi. You guys, there's another person with my exact name that used to live. She doesn't anymore, but she used to live in my district. Like straight up my exact name, except for her middle name has an E at the end of it and mine doesn't. So you would think that these people that are putting the slanderous lies out would just do a little tiny bit of homework and see if there are possibly two people with the same name. But see, what they're trying to do is they're hoping that a lie comes out and you guys will just believe it. You just believe it. Fake news. Fake news. I actually feel sorry for the other girl that has my name from wherever she is, because she doesn't deserve this either, right? It's ridiculous. So anyway, Jay and I are going to celebrate our 32nd wedding anniversary, and we've been working for a long time for the citizens of Washington State. I have been going to the legislature. You guys have been watching me, right? We've been talking about comprehensive sex education and the garbage that's happening in our public schools. Let's start talking about the issues and stop trying to lie about people so that we can look better. That's the stupidest way to run a campaign that I've ever heard of in my whole life. So why do we want to make changes? We want to make changes because our public school systems are not teaching our students how to think anymore. They're teaching them what to think. We've got activists in our schools, right? The schools have become indoctrination centers where we teach our kids that there's 400 genders and that their sex is just in their head. And we're hurting our children. We've got a president in office right now who cannot string two coherent sentences together, right? And yet the Democrats want us to believe that more people voted for him than for Barack Obama. We got voter integrity issues. We got to have good ringing today. There's so many things, so many real issues. Yes, Christy, I know that. She's saying, did you know that Facebook gives people warning before they come to your page? Yes, I know. Facebook's locked me out of my page. They don't like truth tellers. They don't like discourse, right? And the Democrats don't like it either. They won't use the word censorship because the Democrats, the liberals, hate the word censorship. So we've done the much more palatable cancel culture. And so if you say something like, I should have put my phone in do not disturb. We should have, right, started asking questions. You guys remember a long time ago, way back, a long time ago when I was talking about the Rona, and I was saying, you guys, it's not wrong to ask questions. We should ask the questions of your politicians, ask the questions of the people that sit on your city council. The mask mandates, these schools that are trying to get your kids to wear masks back to school. This is ridiculous. We got to start telling the truth, and it's okay to tell the truth. It's okay to demand accountability. If you don't like the way someone's conducting a campaign, I promise you're not going to like the way they conduct themselves in office. You won't like it. And so let's start telling the truth. I think the discourse is really important, and we need to start having it because we got problems in this country that have got to be addressed by people of integrity who are willing to sit down at the table and say, all right, how do we get into this horrible mess and how do we get ourselves out of it? And it comes by returning to the values that made this nation the greatest nation on the face of the earth, that the Democrats and the crazy people on the far left have spent the last 50 years dismantling. They're dismantling our country brick by brick by brick. We've got to send a different kind of person, different people to Washington, D.C., and to our state houses, and to our city councils, and to our library boards, and to our school boards. Stop sitting this thing out and get off the bench. We got character should matter, right? And for so long, we're listening to people who we know to be liars, and now they're trying to give us instructions about the Rona vaccine. You guys, you see what's happening? They're dividing us. They're dividing us by vaccinated and unvaccinated. They're going to divide us by political party. I had an awesome conversation with a Democrat the other day, and we disagreed on a bunch of things, but you know what? There were things that we agreed on, and we found common ground. We got to have the conversation. We've got to be talking to each other. And so there's wickedness afoot right now. And so I'm going to encourage you guys, get involved. And if you see a candidate running right? If you see someone like me that's running for office that has had the courage to step out there and say, I can lead, I can do it, support him. Put your money where your mouth is. Support them financially. Start getting their signs. Start talking about the issues. Let's talk about the issues again. And we're going to see a return to common sense in this country before they lock us down again. Remember, I started off by saying that, you guys. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. We've got to do better. And so I am excited to see what happens in 2022. Because we are going to take back the House. We're going to take it back. And we're going to stem the bleeding that the Biden administration is causing to our nation, to our great nation, the land that I love. You guys, I'm going to come back another time and we're going to talk about critical race theory. And you're going to see what's happening in the federal government as far as education is and what the federal government is doing to further the erosion of our school system. And like I've been telling you guys for years and years and years, if it's within your ability at all, pull your children out of these indoctrination centers that are hell bent on infecting really the minds and hearts of your children. Critical race theory is racist. It's racist. And I don't have time to talk about it right now. Born in 1989, it was a cancer that is now metastasized in our universities and is spreading to our high schools and elementary schools. And if they can turn us against each other, they will. And one more thing before I go. Right here in Washington State, and this affects the district that I'm running for Congress, 12, count them, 12 horrible laws just came down from the State House that are literally going to tie the hands of the police so that they can no longer protect the citizens of this great state. Something's wrong. 6 of those terrible laws go into effect on Sunday, the 25th. And so I'm going to be talking about that more. We've got some things in the works because we want to educate you guys about what's happening. You need to know how to defend yourself because the bottom line is the police aren't coming to help you. We're going to start to see lawlessness in Washington State like we have never seen before because we have woke politicians and evil people making laws for the people in the state of Washington and around the nation. And if you guys are sick of this, if you're sick of it like I'm sick of it, then we cannot sit anymore on the sidelines and just pontificate on Facebook and think that our one vote, our uneducated vote, is going to stand. Do you guys really think for one moment, because in the voters pamphlet, right, the judges and the prosecutors, they're listed as bipartisan. Do you think for one moment any of those people are bipartisan? They're not. They're not. And this is why we have people legislating from the bench. We've got to pay attention. There's a reason. Yep, Carol, you're right. There's a reason that they're trying to divide us. There's a reason that they're going to divide us by race, by gender, by color, by creed, by Rona vaccination. There is a reason for it. And I believe they're trying to cause chaos in our country. And we must not let that happen. And so that's part of the reason why I came on here today, just to kind of, tell you this is what it's like to run for office right now. This is a terrible political environment, but they want you to run. Do not run. The only thing that they need to continue this destructive agenda that is hurting our country and ruining the future for our grandchildren in this wonderful place that we call home is for you to be quiet. So don't allow them to silence you. Tell the truth. It's okay to make mistakes, by the way. If you tell the truth and you made an honest mistake, then just say, I made a mistake. I was wrong. There's a difference between making a mistake and willfully lying. There's a difference between making a mistake and going and trying to injure another person willfully. So we need to be honest about what's happening. And your school boards are very important. They can help be the gatekeepers to keep this destructive critical race theory and comprehensive sex education out of our schools. And I'm telling you what, you guys, especially here in Washington State, your children are in grave danger in the public schools. If I told you that there was a virus with a 99.9% mortality rate, that 99.9% of the kids would die from, would you take your kids out of the schools? Yes, you would. If I told you that there was a 15% chance that your kids would die from a virus, would you take your kids out of the schools? Yes, you would. Well, there's a virus that's even worse than that because it is having a devastating effect on the hearts and minds of our kids. And the fact is they're going to be infected by this virus, and it is more dangerous and more deadly than the Rona ever was. So we got to pay attention and we got to start telling the truth. So that's it for me. I've gone through my list of fake news. That is today's fake news update. And I'm sure there'll be more. But in the meantime, I'm not deterred. I'm not discouraged. I love the people of this district, and I'm going to fight for them. And I'm having the time of my life meeting these people and getting out there and hearing their concerns and hearing their hearts. They don't feel heard anymore. And I am going to do everything I can to be the voice for the people in CD3 and represent them in DC. So there you go, you guys. Heidi St. John, off the bench. And I want to hear how you guys are getting off the bench. So link to it. If you guys are running for office, I don't care where you are. There's people all over this country. Thank you, Tara. Thanks, Patrick. Thanks, you guys. There are people all over this country that are running for office. Good people, regular people, citizen people, not elite politicians, but just people who've been living the life. You guys get off the bench and onto the battlefield. All right. Thanks for listening, Dave. I will come back. I'll come back another time. Well, I mean, there'll be fake news tomorrow. I'll probably come back then. Have a great day, you guys. Keep smiling. Go up to somebody and smile. Freak them out. We haven't seen smiles in a really long time. All right. I'll catch you later.